Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about quadratics with non-real solutions, and in order to do so we're going to have to use the formula for this, and that would be ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, and the graph is going to look somewhat like that. So for our first example, we're going to use 2x squared minus 6x plus 5 equals 0, and as you can see, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 matches perfectly. A would be 2, b would be 6, and c would be 5. Alright, so in order to do so, we're going to have to explain the quadratic formula. And this formula is used as negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Alright, so we'll plug it in as 6 plus or minus the square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times 2 times 5 all over 2 times 2. Alright, so 6 would be your b, negative 6 would also be your b because the positive turns it, or the negative turns into a positive, and then a and b and c all get plugged in. So then you're left with 6 plus or minus square root of 36 minus 40 over 4. And so then you reduce it to 6 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 over 4. And that reduces to 6 plus or minus 2i over 4. And now, to explain I, negative 4 the square root of negative 4 splits into square root of 4 times the square root of negative 1. So the square root of 4 turns into 2, and the square root of negative 1 is equal to I. So that's where you get I from. So then that equals 3 plus I over 2. Or 3 minus I over 2. Alright, example 2. You have the problem of 3x squared plus 10 equals 4x. So you'd subtract 4x from both sides to get 3x squared minus 4x plus 10 equals 0. And because you have to get into the ax squared plus bx equals c. So then you use your quadratic formula. And so you'd plug it in and get x equals 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 squared minus 4 times 3 times 10 all over 2 times 3. And that equals, when you simplify it, to 4 plus or minus 16 minus 120, all being square rooted, over 6. And that equals 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 104 over 6. Well, this is where it gets a little hairy. 4 plus or minus, so that equals 4 plus or minus 2i times the square root of 26 over 6. And now you get that answer because square root of negative 104 gets you negative 4 being square rooted, and that equals square root of 4 times square root of negative 1, which equals I, and 4 turns into 2. But you're also left with with the square root of 26. So when you simplify it, you're left with 2 plus or minus I times the square root of 26 over 3. And your answers are 2 plus I times square root of 26 over 3, or 2 minus I times the square root of 26 over 3. Thank you guys. Enjoy the video. Hope that helped.